Hello students, welcome to Media Effects on Communication Behavior COM 525 week 4. This week we are going through a number of different things that we are looking at. If you look at the agenda, we're in chapter 10 and 11. We're going through a lot of the content within there that relates to this idea of collaboration and Marshall McLuhan and some of the things that I'll be discussing today. You are watching two videos. One of them is on Marshall McLuhan. It's a documentary that's about 45 minutes or so. So this lecture, I'm going to keep it short so that way you can focus your efforts on that video as well as the 15-minute TED Talk we have. In addition to your assignments this week, we have a critical review number 2 due on Thursday along with some reply posts, and then we also have our midterm due on Sunday, which is a 2-component midterm that has a paper and a plan. I did post on Blackboard in the agenda and with the assignment itself in week 4 a sample plan for the midterm. So if you look at that, it's not the paper, it's just the digital media plan. It's a sample of that. The paper itself you do need to write, but this plan will also help you understand what I'm looking for in terms of a digital media plan. Just to review the assignment itself, you are writing an APA paper of no less than 5 pages, full APA, cover page, abstract, all that good stuff, that provides an overview of how digital media may or may have not influenced the church in some particular way. Pick a specific position on the usefulness or hurtfulness of digital media and explain how specific digital media practices you're evaluating may help or not help the church. So remember, in your plan, you're providing a way to implement a digital media practice. In the paper, you're discussing why it may or may not be important for the church. Some type of social media outlook, blogging, live streaming, online giving, something like that, and looking at how a digital media tool like that may help the church in terms of communicating with its body. You'll provide outside scholarly sources as well to justify your position and include biblical references and such. So keep that in mind. That's for the paper. So that's just a standard paper that's about 5 pages that you'll do. For the plan, you will construct a digital media plan that's about 2 to 3 pages in length, where you are providing all of the following that you see here: a company overview, which would be a church overview, situation analysis, competitor analysis, audience analysis, providing particular goals. I'm assuming they're social media related in nature. If not, then whatever that relates to particular digital media tool you have, how you would implement this and evaluate it. This is going to be about 2 to 3 pages that clearly tells us how you would plan to implement and utilize this digital media tool you analyzed in your paper for a particular church or hypothetical church, whatever that may be. I posted a sample digital media plan on Blackboard, like I said. This is for a nonprofit group from another class that's not related to ours. It's 15 pages in length because that was all they had to do, so there's a lot more they had to put within their social media plan. This is really just to be supplementarily and enhance your paper. So it's definitely a lot more abbreviated in terms of what you'll be doing as compared to the sample that's up on Blackboard, but that's there to help you kind of see what I'm looking for in terms of structure and hopefully give a good idea of what a competitor analysis is and how you can make yours what yours needs to be for the page length and requirements of this assignment and such. Going forward, you have another critical review. This is the same exact format that we did for the first one that was due a couple of weeks ago. Same exact thing. You're writing about a 3 to 4 page paper that is clearly telling us what we need to know about a particular theory from the text, utilizing 3 to 4 outside sources, giving us major concepts and contentions of the theory, analyzing strengths and weaknesses, and then commenting on your personal thoughts of how the theory works within communication theory and media effects. You're posting this as an attachment by Thursday to Blackboard and responding to at least 3 other students by Sunday. So same drill, just a new theory, and hopefully that is pretty self-explanatory. If you need any help with that, let me know ahead of time. I wanted to give you some background on McLuhan before you get into the documentary. Some interesting things about McLuhan was he was born in the 20s, passed away in 1980. It's really important to understand because a lot of his major contentions were applicable when in his lifetime, but weren't fully applicable and really profound until after his passing, really with the advent of the internet and smartphone and a lot of the things that we have today. He's ironically known as one of the greatest mass communication theorists of all time, but his academic training and work was as a professor in literary analysis and English. So all of his information he learned in school dealt with literary analyses and English as itself, English lit, things of that nature, not really formally trained in communication, but ironically became known as one of the greatest mass communication theorists of all time. Was one of the first noteworthy scholars and accepted scholars within academia on media analysis, coined phrases like the global village, medium is the message, things of that nature, and did this out of fascination he had towards new technologies and the influence communication technologies have on our lives. So his major contentions about the media being the message really considers that the medium we use to communicate is more important than anything we're trying to communicate in and of itself. So with that, he would say that this phone here, my phone, is more important, that considering this as a communication medium is more important than what I have to say on my phone. And the reason for this is we all know that in today's society that this is not merely a phone. It is used for a number of different things. I can access the internet, email, message people, purchase things, do a number of different things from interaction perspective with this device, communication technology device, rather than speak on it as a phone. So what he said is it doesn't matter what we're saying. We've been saying the same things for hundreds and hundreds of years. Really what's more profound is the mediums we're using to say what we have to say. What happens if you have something to say to a professor? Usually you get in touch with them by email, right? Did the question change decades after decade after decade after decade? No, not really. Students still ask professor the same types of questions that they've been asking for hundreds and hundreds of years. So the communication itself hasn't changed. Students are always going to have questions about assignments and what they need to get done in a class and things of that nature. Rather, it's the medium we use to communicate the message. And that's really what he meant by that in terms of the medium is the message. That we need to, from a media effects perspective, look at what we're using to communicate rather than what we're communicating in and of itself. And that tells us more about society and how impactful that society is to one another based off of the mediums we use to communicate. He also coined this phrase, a global village, which is kind of an oxymoron in itself because global means large and big and profound, and village means small and innate and close-knit, right? So in 1962, he theorized that the new age of electronic communication, and we're talking about television, radio, phone, things of that nature, had shrunk the world to the size of a village. And that small village communication allowed for instant communication, whereas world communication, global communication, could not. What's really profound about this today is that this is even more true today than it's been in any other time. We are a global village. I can connect with anybody I want with this device or a computer or something else. A good example of this is my children are really good friends with our neighbors. Their best friends are our neighbors. We were at a family's house this weekend and they spent 45 minutes FaceTiming their best friends at a family gathering just to connect with one another and show them the new house and things like that because they couldn't come. These are people we live next door to. But the global village tells us that it doesn't matter the distance we're separated by, that we can still communicate in small village-like or instant communication-like perspectives no matter what, because of the communication technologies that we have. And that electronic communication at the time, what it was known as, which today is smartphones, things of that nature, has shrunk the world size down to the size of a village. And we are connected with anybody we want to connect with as closely as we want to connect with them based off of our communication technologies. So looking at that, keep in mind what we're working on this week. We have chapter 10 and 11 we're reading. You're doing your midterm. That's all of that is due on Sunday. And then your critical review is due Thursday and your responses are due by Sunday. If you have any questions, let me know early on in the week. We do have a handful of things to do, a lot of different components. If you need further clarification, I'd be happy to chat with you. Other than that, I pray you all have a blessed week and let me know if you have any questions.